It's no surprise that since their initial arrival in society, smartphones have had a very large impact. But despite their ever-increasing prevalence, not much is known about how these devices affect people's well-being. Hi, I'm Ashley Gordon, and I want to give you a brief rundown on what the research methods class has been focusing on this semester. So 2 studies were conducted, and the first one was focused on asking how active and passive smartphone use relate to positive affect, negative affect, and life satisfaction. For study 2, the question was how a lack of smartphone use for 24 hours would then affect well-being. So my hypothesis for each was that as rates of smartphone use increase, so would rates of negative affect, and vice versa. For the second study, as rates decrease, negative affect would decrease and positive affect would increase. So what we did was set up a survey that asked basic questions about life satisfaction, using the satisfaction with life scale and the SPAN to measure positive and negative affect over the past 3 weeks for our participants that were comprised of people who were connected to the research team's social media sites. And so for the second study, we did a within subjects design of using just the research methods team to not use their phones at all for 24 hours. And with that one, a self-report survey was taken prior to the 24 hours beginning, and then 24 hours with no smartphone use, and then a post survey measuring their rates of well-being over the previous 24 hours with no smartphone use. The results of each study showed that as smartphone use increases, rates of negative affect increase. So total smartphone use and negative affect were moderately positively correlated with the first study, and rates of non-smartphone use and negative affect were negatively correlated for the second study, meaning that as smartphone use decreased, negative affect decreased over that 24 hours as well. So some strengths of study 1 included that it was pre-registered, which means basically that the plan for what the experiment was going to be was set out beforehand, so no tampering with the method could be done after data collection. There was also a relatively large sample size. 356 participants were included in the data analysis, so that's a pretty good number, and ecological validity was good with the first one. There was no tampering with people's smartphone use, it was just measuring something as it naturally occurred. But for the second one, since it was an experimental design instead of just a correlational study, we did tamper with smartphone use, and we were not able to randomize the conditions. So everyone got the same thing, and the order was done the same way for everyone. So this was a limitation for the second study. Future studies should focus on addressing causation more. So we tampered with smartphone use and then measured how that affected well-being, but a good future study could be tampering with well-being and seeing how that affects rates of smartphone use. So since smartphones probably aren't going away anytime soon, and the number of smartphone users is just steadily increasing, especially as the population increases, it's very important to continue to study these devices and see how they affect us in many ways, more than just our well-being. So that way we can optimize our use and really know what we're doing and what we're getting ourselves into, and that we can make these devices the best thing for us moving forward. So thank you for your time and for this wonderful semester. Okay.